Yo, mic check, 1, 2. Coach JT in the building, what it do? 94 feet, that's the space we own. From baseline to baseline, make it known. Dribble the beat, pass the rhyme. Got that hardwood flow, transcended space and time. Swish, nothing but net. Word to Reggie Miller, these other podcasts, they just fill up. We elevate, never hate. Dropping knowledge, seal your fate. 94 feet, that's the court, that's the pod. Talking hoops, ain't no facade. 94 feet, hit a bounce, hit a swish. It's that podcast, granting every wish. From the jump ball to the final buzzer. Analyzing plays like a lyrical puzzler.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of 94 Feet with CoachJT.com. As always, do me a favor, visit the website, hit the merch. Still got the dope hoodies. We got the drops coming. The spring drop is on the way. 94 Feet with CoachJT.com. Shout out to the team. Wiz Media in the back doing what they do best. Before I get into this intro, a little history about my guest today. I could not stand this man on the basketball court, but I respected his game, what he did, how he presented himself, how much of a grind it was for me to compete against this dude on the high school level. Then we met up again in junior college. But I think that developed our relationship where it is today. My guest today is conversation is going to bridge the gap between academics, athletics, personal growth. This gentleman just completed his doctorate degree, a powerful story rooted right here in Sacramento. He's a 3,500 Burbank Titan. He's a father, he's a coach, he's a mentor, but also somebody who I've learned to respect on and off the court. We've had many conversations, but also supported the brand, the movement since I've been in this thing, returning home from college and coaching as well. This conversation is about growth, man, identity, what it really means, though, to level up on and off the court. Dr. Ray Harris, a.k.a. Mr. Mojay's, to tell everybody else. What's up, my guy?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me on. Man. I appreciate it.
Real talk. And, like, as I stated, just to start the show, bro, people that know you from the area know you. But, again, I started the show going on 5 years coming up, man, with athletes, foreign people I know. The game of basketball for me, that's the one spot I do know you from. In generally, but just give me a little bit of background, about just where you growing up, where you're from, what was sports you was into early, what was that like for you before they knew you as the guy to shoot the ball from half court. Before Steph Curry, he was shooting the ball timeline across half court, and this is 90s. I was like, bro, what is he doing? It's not legal, but where'd the game stuff come from for you early on, man?
So ironically, man, I only ever played basketball. So I think, like, grade school, like whatever sport was playing in school, flag football, whatever it was. Yeah. But when I was 10 years old, I started going to the YMCA. My Aunt Evelyn, who was actually a guidance counselor for Delta College for a number of years, she bought me like a gift certificate or something for $50 to play in a YMCA basketball league. So I had my mom take me down there, and I played in the league, and I got linked up with Tony Vaughn. So Tony played at Consumnes, and he played with my father and against my father back in the 60s and the 70s. And so I was 10 years old. Tony took me under his wing, started teaching me how to play. So I really learned how to play from Tony Vaughn, too. So ironically, he coaching against you now, McClatchy, yeah. But that's where I started learning how to play. Yeah. So so Tony's teaching me how to play. I'm from South Sac. I'm from Meadowview, and I'm just kind of trying to find my way. I was really younger than everybody, so I used to go up to 10th and P. I used to go to YMCA. I went to 24 when it opened, but I was kind of younger than all the legends at the time, the Jamie Townsends, the Ben Griffins. I was younger than those guys, and so when I could get on the court, I would. You had to earn it. I had to earn it, right? And if I lost, I had to sit. Yep. Me and my man Damon Polehill, I know you know Polehill. We linked up at the same YMCA.
Killer crossover.
Once we got to playing together, we kind of became like a little dynamic duo, right? So we would get on the court. We would stay on the court for a long time. It was hard to get on the court, though, when we were younger, so we would literally steal the ball and run around and make people play tag. Like, if we ain't playing, ain't nobody playing. And that's how we learned how to get on the court. Yeah. My opinion, that's kind of what some of the younger kids are missing today, like just playing for the love of the game. But that's really the era that I came from. And that's kind of how I had to get it, like, completely out the mud, bro.
Yeah. During that era, again, it was a good time in basketball, sports for us in general. Who are some of the people, persons that outside of those? Shout out to Tony Vaughn, OG, teaching you, but anybody else you kind of look up to, want to model your game after, or did you create your own, like, nah, I'm going to create my own little kind of style from a couple different people?
That's a good question. So obviously it was Ben. So Ben Griffin was a senior my freshman year at Burbank, and he was player of the year. And watching the way he commanded the game and watching the way he carried himself at school, like he just seemed to be elevated over everybody at times. And so I will say around that time, I really was trying to be like Ben and his friends, right? He was close with like Dame a lot.
Yep.
And Dame actually lived next door to my grandfather, so he lived next door to him. Ben's uncle lived on Eddie Lee, and he lived down the street from my grandfather. And so I used to look up to those guys because like Dame was a professional baseball pitcher, and Ben was player of the year. So I was looking up to those guys, really trying to catch them.
Yeah.
Also Russ Osby, guys like that.
And people, again, they know, but South Sac produced a lot of talent. A lot of talent. Made it, didn't make it, had good careers. Right down the street in the same area, man. Cross Tampa, Chandler, Foreign Road, all them streets right there. Amherst. Hoop was at a different level. But like you said, I do like the point, but you had to get respect. You had to earn it. Like, you couldn't go to Wright Smith or somewhere else, get on the court unless they was like, oh, nah, you got to really earn it, man. The hours, though. Everybody see finished results. Or even in high school, yeah, we see you making these shots, but what was the work hours like for you putting in, trying to get those moves down, get that jumper wet, get those moves to where you could score a 3-level score throughout your time in middle school and high school?
You know, it's hard to put it in hours like an overall number, but on a daily basis, I feel like I was working 4 or 5 hours a day on basketball. Food was a lot different back then, so I won't say I ate well compared to how I would eat today with the knowledge we have now. But I didn't eat a lot of fast food. I didn't eat a lot of sugar. I didn't eat a lot of candy. It was really I was really eating food, drinking a lot of water. I was always thinking about basketball. But as far as like in the gym and work, I would say 4 or 5 hours a day. I usually try to put in a couple hours before school. We'd have 2 hours of practice, and I would get at least an hour or two in after school. A lot of free throw shooting, a lot of form shooting. I worked on my jump shot quite a bit.
Had to. Again, those that know. He didn't come out there just shooting that thing like that, not practicing. You can't just, I tell a lot of kids today, even the hour alone, 2 hours in any type of practice is not enough. It's nowhere near enough for you to develop a skill set consistently or to get game-like. Yeah, the pros do it. They're pros. They can walk through and shoot. They put the hours in, but you got to put these extra hours in without having somebody make you do it. And also, it's got to be the right hours, right? You can't go in there and say, I'm putting up 500 shots, but they're 500 bad shots. You might as well put up 200 good ones and make whatever and get out of that. Who was in the gym with you during those times, man? Anybody you was rocking with during that time where you was growing, or that was like a solo act? Like, nah, I'm getting this by myself.
Nah, those were solo acts. And like you said, today they got shooting machines. They got all these things, right? And so the kids today, I don't think they're quite aware of all the advantages that they have. But back then, I was shooting from 25, 30 feet, and then I had to run and get it. And
It's a lot of cardio.
yeah, man, and shoot that again. So wasn't a lot of people in the gym with me. Little secret, I did have keys to the gym when I was at Burbank. So our PE teacher, who's currently working at Home Depot, like I think he's retired. He just does it for fun.
Yeah.
But we might have found his keys laying around somewhere one day and made some copies of them. So I had a key to the gym. So again, at 6 a.m. when I knew the alarm was tripped, I was in there about 10 minutes after, getting up shots. And like I said, a lot of free throws, a lot of form shooting, because if I was working on threes or whatever, I'd have to chase them all down. I wouldn't get up as many shots.
Right. That's what's up, man. You had a good career at the high school, bro. Did some good things.
Thank you, man.
Huh?
Thank you, man.
You talk about Ben's aura, though. Eventually, that aura came to your way. We knew, he coming to the gym. Here we go. But that was the game where I wanted to be at. Or those games I wanted to be at. What was it like, though, to have that? Because, again, those moments, bro, from them 90s and 2000s runs, for both our schools, bro, was just ridiculous. The Battle of Foreign Road was a real thing, right? What was it like for you to go into the environments knowing that these lights is on you? Game in, game out, every night.
I think my sophomore year, I started feeling like I had to produce something, like I had to do something, right? Maybe I started pressing the issue a little bit. But really my junior year, my senior year, I didn't think like that as much. I thought it was more about us. It was more about a team and what we could accomplish. So my junior year and my sophomore year, our teams were very similar. We had Yasu Malatu, we had Harrison Anderson. Stephon Harris. My team was very similar. And Jermaine Brown was Jermaine might not have been here my senior year. Kareem was there. Yeah. So I think maybe my sophomore year I was a little more selfish. I didn't take maybe as many shots, but I was thinking about me. How can I play well? Okay. But my junior and senior year, it was really about us. And so I never felt like the spotlight was on me. I felt like the spotlight was on us. Like we had to produce, we had to play well, and we had to represent Sacramento. Especially my senior year, we played against a lot of teams from the Bay Area, a couple of teams from SoCal. So I didn't think it was Ray Harris. I thought it was Burbank, right? I thought it was Florence Road, and we were representing how hard we could play and how much we could accomplish, but not so much me individually. But I might have taken more shots. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah,
that's part of the game.
But it was more thinking about how we could be well as a team, not just me.
How good was that feeling to represent the city, the team? Because right now, and I still know for us during that era, that's what meant a lot for everybody. I'm representing my school, my area. If we play, especially play teams from out of town, it was like they can't come here, or vice versa, and get us because we're not going. How did that mean for you to put that leadership role? Was that something hard for you to do, transition to that space, coming from a me to a we, or was that something like you knew because of that I had to get to that space?
I don't think it was hard to transition to. I just respected my teammates. I knew they respected me. And so we were trying to win. Like, we wanted to beat you guys, right? We didn't ever want to lose to Kennedy. We wanted it to be sure that we were the best school on that street. The Battle of Florence Road meant something to us. And so I don't think that part was difficult, but we knew that we were shortchanged. We knew that our gym floor was slippery. We knew that our bleachers hadn't been changed in 15 years. Right. We knew how old the gym was. We knew how old the school was. We knew we weren't spending a lot of money on coaching. We knew we didn't have the best schedule in the city. We weren't traveling. We knew that. And so I think to us, we wanted to represent how much heart a group of kids from South Sacramento could have, similar to what Kennedy was doing too.
Right. That's what's up. Of course, the highlight stuff gets put out first. Everybody gets noticed that. But anytime during the high school process where you had to face some adversities to where, like, I got to change something, or I'm going through a few things, or I struggled at this and that, something that you could talk about.
Yeah, so playing against Christian brothers, man, Iman Graves, I don't know if you remember Iman.
That's family, yeah. Iman, TJ, all them over there.
Yeah.
Their team was different.
But Iman was a grown man already.
He was tough.
Yeah, man. So Iman, I had some big games against him, but I couldn't stop him from having big games against us.
Iman was a dog.
Yeah.
At that size, he was about 6-something, but he ran track. He ran the 400, 200. He was just that great athlete, but he could hoop. But he didn't look the best, but he was efficient. He could go solid, right?
And strong.
Super strong.
I wasn't strong back
high
then.
school, yeah. We weren't lifting like that.
Nah.
We weren't lifting like they would.
Nah, so playing against those guys, man, I remember we lost to them one year. I remember we lost to them a home game.
Because that was our metro. That was our metro league.
That was the metro. And so we lost to them a home game. I remember being in the locker room. I was crying. I was breaking stuff because that's just a hump we could not get over until my senior year. And they would go and they would lose to you guys or something, and we would beat you guys, and then we couldn't beat them, right? And so
that metro was crazy, right? Christian Brothers, Jesuit, Sac High, Kennedy, Burbank. I don't know if I'm missing somebody else.
Hiram Johnson.
Shout out to Deion Walker, Terrence Johnson, all them. Like, talk about the city. Again, I know the new schools are branching out, but that old metro was lit. Every game was like, it's people we know. It was homies, vice versa. It was like, I know him tonight. It's up. Like, just that atmosphere. People talking about standing room only games. Standing room only. Like that. The run you went on your last 2 years, though, especially your senior year, talk about some memorable moments in that senior year, knowing, like, okay, this is going to be my last years here, though. But what are some things that stood out for you, though, that you remember, that you like, okay, this is one of these games or events that, like, I ain't never going to forget that.
So there's two big games my senior year that I'm never going to forget. So the first one was in the St. Hope Classic against Fremont Oakland. So Fremont Oakland won the state championship that year. They beat Modern Day down in the pond. That's where they played at that time. So the only game they lost was to us. We beat them in the second round of St. Hope. I remember I had 49 points. had 49 with about 3 minutes to go in the game.
Jeez.
And came out of the game. We were up 12 or 13, something like that. But the game was over for whatever reason, so I don't remember the score.
Yeah.
But I remember that game. I remember I was just felt like I was making everything. I hit a three off one leg. I hit a shot from half court at the end of one of the quarters. I was just on fire that game.
In your bag is going like that. You numb, rim is wide up. Like 49 is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially in that gym too.
And against that kind of competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had 2 NFL players, 2 Major League Baseball players on that roster. That was a very athletic roster. That was one of the best teams in NorCal history. But yeah, I just think that the rim just looks like it's huge. Now, there were a couple of games, and that's one of the games where I almost couldn't see color anymore. Everything is just black and white to me. And the rim would just look like a very big black hole. Like it's like I couldn't miss it, you know? And so I was just throwing the ball up, and it's like a black hole where it's just attracting the ball. And that's just kind of how it felt.
That's what's up. In today's day, I mean, you have a daughter too, this process now. What was the transition like knowing, okay, my high school career is over now, but what's next for me? What am I going to do? What was that like for you? Because our time then it was different, right? The exposure, the stuff like that, the content, all that stuff is not out there like it is today. You can't shop yourself around as much, or it's more timely to get your name out there, information out there. What was that process like, you making a transition from high school sports to now trying to become a collegiate athlete at the next level somewhere? So
when I finished high school, or when we played our last game, there was some interest from some schools, but it wasn't a lot of interest. And I never really played a lot of AAU. I think I played 5 or 6 tournaments my whole life. So I didn't play enough summer basketball, and I ended up getting criticized for it by Joe Davison later on. But I didn't really know that's what I should have been doing. I just didn't really know. So one of the schools that had some interest in me was Pacific, and so they had an open gym. My dad knew the head coach down there, so I went and played in their open gym. By the end of that open gym, they invited me on a visit, and then by the end of the visit, they invited me. They had the scholarship papers for me, so I didn't really have to process that a whole lot. And in the back of my mind, I always knew something would work out for me. But had I not gone to Pacific, I would have went to Cosumnes. And Coach Clark was a Clark at Cosumnes, and his daughter is my godmom.
Oh, okay.
So I would have played for Jim. For sure, because I was already so close with the family.
That's what's up. Yeah. So you get to UOP. What was that like, stepping on campus or something?
When I went to UOP, it was 35 black kids. I don't know how many there is now. I know it's a lot more than that.
Right.
But so when I went to UOP, it was a total culture shock for me. The education was much different. I didn't have any books at Burbank. I'm not trying to down talk Burbank today or any of that, but I didn't have any books. I just went to school with a sheet of paper and some pencils, pen maybe, whatever. Throughout the course of the day, they would give us, some kind of Scantron or some kind of printout of whatever we're supposed to do.
Handout, yeah.
We do that, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
Get specific, and it's like, nah, you got to do this, and you got to get all your books, and you got 15 books or whatever for your 6 classes, and so it was a total culture shock on how I had to be invested in myself and be invested in my education, not only to be eligible to play, but to become something, right? It was a total different environment. So, to your point, total shock.
Yeah. In which today we know it still happens, right? Even the learning is different too, though, right? Like, elementary school kids have different learning systems and stuff in place right now. It's like, this is what y'all doing? Like, oh yeah, we gotta tap in.
Yeah,
we gotta tap in. How long were you at UOP?
So I was there a year and a half.
Okay, and then after that, do you go to Delta?
Yeah, so left UOP after that first half of my sophomore year. So I was in a car accident in front of the off-campus housing, and jacked my back up pretty bad. I tried to play a few weeks after that and herniated a disc in my back. So I played in 2 or 3 games, and I just couldn't move. So I asked the coach if I could redshirt. He didn't really want to redshirt me, so then I talked about it with my dad, and then we decided that I was going to transfer. At the time, Philip Ritchie, I don't know if you remember Philip, but Philip Ritchie was at Delta that season playing for Coach Katz. So the second half of my sophomore year, I decided early that I was going to go to Delta. Cabrillo Junior College was recruiting me too, Tony Markopoulos, and Tony Markopoulos was the coach that actually recruited me to go to UOP, but he left UOP before I ever got there and took the head job at Cabrillo.
JC, okay.
And so what I did was there was a big well, maybe it wasn't big, but there was some kind of feud between Coach Thomason at UOP and Coach Katz at Delta because Phillip had decided he wanted to go to Oregon State.
Instead of going to UOP.
So I decided to go to Delta to frustrate Coach Thomason. But I didn't tell Coach Markopoulos that until the last possible day that I could tell him, because I wanted to frustrate him too, because I kind of felt like they had done me wrong and I got hurt and they weren't protecting me from the injury. And so I was a little immature at the time, and I felt like they should be doing something for me, forgetting that they already have done something for me. They're paying for my education. They've already invested in me. Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about it that way. I was thinking of it another way. And so that's how I ended up at Delta. But none of my classes transferred either. So all my classes from Pacific transferred to Delta as electives. So when I started at Delta that semester, I had to finish my AA in one calendar year at Delta. So there was 3 semesters and 2 summers, and I had to get my AA in that time frame.
Junior college basketball, grind, that experience that you get healthy, you get to play. First off, just how was the rehab, whatever? How long did it take you to get back on the court, like playing?
So I was probably back on the court in like 4 months, and then I tore my ACL. And the way the rules were then, you only got 5 years to play for D1 level no matter what. If you have 2 injury years, you could possibly get another one. But because I was at JC, I had to play that year. So I had to play on a partially torn ACL my sophomore year at Delta. And my back was better, but not the best.
Major injuries.
Partially torn. It was
it
was intact.
What was the body for? Because them junior college games was grimy. What was you ice bathing up, getting treatment every day? What was that like to keep you moving?
Yeah, it was bad. Right. There's the training room at Delta is not like the training room at Pacific, right? And there's not as many trainers, and there's not as many ice bags, and there's not as much time. So. Learned a lot about personal accountability during that time. And Coach Katz was also very good at teaching that to me, teaching me how to stay healthy, teaching me how to keep my body right, how to stay off my leg, even how to practice. But he didn't let up on me. I still had to make all the sprints on time. I still was held accountable to being professional during the games. Coach Katz was a little more militant at that time. So there was no braids allowed, no beards allowed, right? Like you couldn't yell or scream after a good play. There was no trash talking. If you got a technical foul, you were definitely running the next practice until you were throwing up. And so I had, as a captain on that team, I had to learn what he expected from us, hold the other guys accountable to it, but absolutely produce that myself also.
Shout out to Coach Katz too, dope guy. Education-wise, though, we got to talk about it. What were you majoring in? What had your interest in? What did you choose? What did you pick? Because, again, people may see you or see us as former athletes, but the education, again, how you speak, people are going to see this like, man, I never knew Dr. Harris could talk like this. I never heard him talk like that, but it comes from somewhere or something.
Yeah, so at Delta, I got a scholarship offer to Fresno State. I was going to go to Fresno State. They got hit with sanctions, so I ended up at Western Illinois. There was like a signing period. The last day of the signing period, I think someone quit the team at Western Illinois. They called Coach Katz to see if I'm available. I had to sign. Then I went on a visit after I had committed to go there. That school's in the middle of nowhere, so anyone out there that's ever been to Macomb, Illinois, I'm sorry you went there. But it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no major highway to Macomb, Illinois. You cannot accidentally get there. You got to be going to Macomb to end up in Macomb, right? Small college town. I think the school is like 20,000 people, so the school made the town, right? Yeah. Played there my junior year, and like you said, my body's all jacked up, right? So at this point, I'm 21 years old, but I got a bad back already, a bad knee. I ain't really rehabbed it, and I can't really rehab it because the rules really don't allow for me to get a 6th year. That's a total gamble, right? So I played my junior year, and I think that's like the first year like in 4 or 5 years that I didn't even like get a dunk in that season, my junior year. I think I had 1 at Delta and I had 0 at Western Illinois, right? So my body is shot by now. And so I'm already starting to think, well, what's next for me, right? My major was already philosophy, but I'm already starting to think, like, what's next for me? How do I apply myself? My grandmother had always told me I didn't really realize how smart I was because I never applied myself. All I did was apply myself with basketball. So it was around that time when I knew I wasn't going to be able to play much longer that I started focusing on what's the next chapter of my life. And that's when I started to apply myself academically. But at that point, I was just trying to graduate and get my degree because there were so many guys, as you know, that get to that where they're done playing and they just stop going to school. So I didn't want to be one of those guys. I wanted to stay in school long enough to get my degree. So that's what I did. I stayed in school to get my degree. As far as moving toward my doctorate, that's a little bit different story. So I'm actually looking at guys like you, and you guys are coaching or whatever, and I've coached some AAU, like number of years, coached quite a few kids, some very good kids, and I just wanted to make money doing it, right? And so I knew I would have to get my master's. So I enrolled in 2021. I enrolled in a master's program, an online master's program. I didn't like that program, so I dropped it and then went with Liberty University, which I did like, right? So I stuck that out and started my master's program with Liberty University in 2021, finished that at the beginning of 2023. I had no intention on getting my doctorate at all. I just wanted a master's so I could coach. I wasn't thinking about anything else, right? Then I got my degree in the mail. So it shows up in the mail. It says, master philosophy, and graduated with distinction, right? I had a 4.0, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, this is awesome, right? One of my professors, her name is Erin Black. Shout out to Dr. Black. So she starts texting me and calling me, and she's like, it's going to be so awesome when you get your doctorate. And I'm like, I ain't doing that, right? And she's like, no, you have to, right? And I'm like, why? And she's like, getting your master's is a breeze for you. It was so easy. You might as well try. If you fail, you fail, but you might as well try. And I remember thinking, she's right. You only got one life to live, and I'm applying myself academically, and I'm learning, and I'm reading these books and reading these articles that are written by people who could be peers of mine. And I had to decide to ask myself, are they smarter than me? Do they know something that I don't know? Do they understand these philosophies, these techniques? Do they understand it at a different level than I do? And I didn't think so. I thought that I could get there. And so I decided to join the program. First half of the doctorate program, it is really not much different than any other school, just a higher level of thinking, but it's just still, you're reading something, you're writing what you think about that, and maybe you add a little bit onto it, but it's not that much different. The second half, though, of the doctorate program is about proving something that no one else has ever proven, and that is challenging. And so as I started down that process and down the dissertation process is where I really started to understand if I could push myself academically to be a 1% thinker or not. And if I could prove something, take someone else's theory and move it forward 1 step or 2 steps, if I could actually do that. There were some times that I doubted if I could, right? Because it's such an intricate way of writing or discussing a thing. But successfully, I was able to complete that part of the program in 18 months, which is kind of allocated for that. And I was able to take a theory, which is called agenda setting theory, and I was able to move that forward.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to my twin, the other half, too. She got her Dr. McGregor. I was like, I'm done. I stopped at the bachelor. She kept going, but I was like, it wasn't just for me. I love her the same. But shout out to you in doing that as well, because that is an accomplishment that should be celebrated as well, bro. It's definitely dope to see. At the end of every interview, bro, as you know, like in basketball, bro, the triple threat, drill, pass, shoot. But for me and all my guests, I ask just, what's your personal triple threat, right? You see Dr. Harris into a classroom, or you guys looking for a doctor professor right here. I'm saying you got two in the same room right here, right? Don't let it fool you, right? A lot of basketball stuff, a lot of knowledge, but also we're in these classrooms where we're giving back and educating our youth. But give me 3 things, man, that people see Dr. Harris come through, they know that, like, that's him, that's what you kind of hold yourself by, your kind of MO, your whatever. Like, give me your personal triple threat.
That's a good question, man. So I think that the way we represent ourselves is important. I don't want to say just African Americans, it's really all people, but African Americans, we have a tendency at times to think that if we are switching in an environment, that it's for somebody else, right? If I'm being more professional in a specific environment, then I must be placating to someone else, and that isn't the case, right? You can do it for yourself. You can be the most professional person in the room and cause the other people in the room to switch because they want you to respect them, not because you want them to respect you. And so I would say the way we represent ourselves does not have to be, we don't have to raise the bar because of what someone else thinks. We want other people raising the bar because of what we think. And so I think the way we represent ourselves in situations, I would say that is definitely one. All right. Let's see. Another one is definitely just taking care of ourselves mentally and physically. So I would just say overall health. One thing about me is I got a really bad sleeping problem. I got pretty bad sleep apnea. So I had to drop a bunch of weight so that I was, in a place where I'm sleeping well. That was affecting me cognitively, that was affecting me physically. So I would say taking care of our mental and physical health, whatever that is for any individual person. So for you, if you need a Starbucks every morning to be mentally right, then go get it, right? But if you put 10 pumps of sugar in it, it might not be good for your heart. You have to just decide where that balance is, I think. And it also might not be good for your wallet. So those 2 things. And then the last one I would say is try to do something that's revenue generating with your time. All of us, not just black people again, but definitely generate revenue no matter what you're doing.
That's what's up, man. You heard it here first, live on 94 Feet with Coach JT. Dr. Harris, shout out to Woods Media, always rocking with the team. If y'all need any media outlet support, podcast stuff, a space, come out, shoot your games, events, whatever it is, commercials, tap into Woods Media, man. They a team, they killing it, man. Tap in with them, DM, tell them Coach JT sent you. We out. Peace.
Yo, mic check 1 2. Coach JT in the building, what it do? 94 feet, that's the space we own. From baseline to baseline, make it known. Dribble the beat, pass the rhyme. Got that hardwood flow, transcended space and time. Swish, nothing but net. Word to Reggie Miller, these other podcasts, they just fill up. We elevate, never hate. Dropping knowledge, seal your fate. 94 feet, that's the court, that's the pod. Talking hoops, ain't no facade. 94 feet, hit a bounce, hit a swish. It's that podcast, granting every wish. From the jump ball to the final buzzer. Analyzing plays like a lyrical puzzler.